We'll start. And as I shared in green meeting, this is a really exciting opportunity for us because Liz, who's going to introduce our speaker, put the speaker in touch with the school. And so we're going to be able to listen to Miss Chanel Person speak about emotional intelligence. But Liz has a story of meeting her. And so Liz is going to introduce her. And whenever Liz is ready, we can get started.
Okay, so I met Chanel about a month ago at a mall, and she was just telling me about her small business that she started, and I felt very moved by her words, and I felt like it was something that the Berkeley Carroll community could benefit from hearing. So, with that being said, I'll just read her bio. So, Chanel in person is a highly purpose driven and passionate public speaker. She is dedicated to her mission to develop people into purpose leaders through her Purpiosed Learning Program. She is a graduate of St. John's University with a Bachelor's of Science in Communications. She is a certified emotional intelligence and leadership coach. Chanel has been speaking and teaching on the principles of leadership, emotional intelligence, and public speaking for the last 4 years. Her vision is to help transform over a million individual students like herself nationally and globally to speak and lead with purpose through her voice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz. I'm so grateful to be here, to be talking to you guys today, just about what's honestly passionate and what's really true to my heart. And I just want to be able to serve you guys in a major way. And because of Liz introducing me to Mr. Andrew Stein and now Jamie O'Regan and everyone else on this call, it's just an honor and I'm so grateful. And I just hope that you guys can take on so much gems for your life. I'm aware that you guys are all 12th graders. You guys are all going into college. It's a new journey, not just a new journey, but we're in the new world. You know, we're going through the pandemic together. We're going through so many different trials and challenges together and looking at the world with a new perspective. And I just want to dive deep into what's passionate and what got me through college and how I overcame insecurity, how I overcame just building and developing my voice and knowing who I am and what I'm called to do. And my journey started in college. So I relate to you guys so much because that's exactly when I understood what emotional intelligence is, what leadership is, what purpose is, and what confidence is. So before I dive deep, I'm just going to share my screen so you guys can just read along on what we're going to discuss today. Just give me 1 second. Can you guys see? Thumbs up.
Yep, we
awesome.
see.
So what we're going to discuss and something that Mr. Stein emphasized, you guys are, again, all in 12th grade, right? You guys are all graduating. I want us to be able to use the chat. So if you guys have access to the chat, I want to know what's your plans after college. I want to know, do you guys plan on going to, after high school? I want to know if you guys are going to college. Are you guys thinking about going to the military? Are you guys thinking about starting a business? And that's how I was able to meet Liz, because I started a second business and I was able to just network and just really grow. So I want to know, drop in a chat. Are you going to go to college? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be an astronaut? I don't know what's on your heart, but let us all know. What do you want to do after high school? Let me know, because that's the first step of really discovering your voice. That's the first step. Let's see what you guys said here. Okay, someone said they want to go to college. Awesome. Someone said they don't know. Guess what? That's probably one of the best answers you can have coming out of high school is I don't know. As long as you even have the confidence to say, I don't know, that's okay. That is a start. Someone said, I want to go to college to be an engineer. Someone said, going to college. Yes, awesome. All right. So this is so good. Thank you for interacting with me. Okay, so how to find your voice, how to find your voice. It's such a new journey with discovering, okay, I'm going to meet new people. A lot of times, everybody we know in high school doesn't go with us into college. We have to start all over. We have to meet new people. We have to really discover who we are all over again. You know, when you're in high school, you realize, okay, I'm good in sports. So let me just really dive deep in sports. I played an instrument. I played the flute throughout my whole years of high school. So that was my area. I ran track. So that was my area. But once there was no longer track or me playing an instrument, I had to discover myself all over again. So it's scary. And it's not just scary because you have to really discover what you're called to do and how to find your voice, but you don't have your mom there. Your dad isn't there. Your sister, your brothers aren't there. Your old friends from high school aren't there. So you're there by yourself. But I want to really put hope in you guys to let you understand that that's okay. If anything, it makes the journey even more exciting. So we're actually just going to dive deep on how to find your voice, and not just how to find your voice, but how I found my voice, you guys. These are literally the principles that helped me find my voice, and I just want to share it with you all. So first, how is emotional intelligence? Drop in the chat who here has heard what emotional intelligence is, even heard of the word or the idea of what emotional intelligence is. If you don't know, that it's completely okay. I didn't know what emotional intelligence was until I got into college. So if you know, please drop it in chat. Let us know. If you don't, that's completely okay. We're going to learn about it today. Another thing is confidence. I always used to tell people, you know, at the recent job that I had, it was in marketing. It was, if we can buy a bottle of confidence, we would probably all be on that line to purchase it, because confidence doesn't happen overnight. Confidence doesn't, you can't just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to be confident tomorrow. It doesn't happen that way. It takes a process of growing. It takes a process of understanding who you are. It takes a process of stepping outside of your comfort zone. So you can't just be confident overnight, and that's okay, but you want to be willing to grow into that confidence. So we're going to discuss, how can I grow my confidence for college? Another one is leadership. Leadership is a huge aspect of finding your voice. It's a huge aspect of being a person of influence. You know, we all see all of these influencers on social media now, on YouTube. Everyone wants, either if you're not going to college, or if you're not going into the military or starting a business, guess what? People want to be an influencer now. People want to be YouTubers. You know, you want to be a TikTok star, right? Not realizing that when you're a person of influence, you have that position of leadership. Anything that you say, people are going to take it, and it's either going to help them or not help them. So that's also important. We think, oh, leadership sounds big. It's something I don't think I'm ready for. I don't want to be a leader, but everything is leadership. Everything is leadership, and we're going to dive into that. So let's see what you guys said in the chat. Oh, you played the flute too. Awesome. I love playing the flute. Awesome. Okay. So emotional intelligence, you guys. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage your emotions and feelings for ourselves and in others. So to go back into my past, I had really, really bad anxiety, social anxiety, and this crippled me so much in college. In the beginning, I was commuting. I went to St. John's, and I was commuting because I lived in Long Island. So I didn't have the opportunity and the ability to really dive deep into the social life of, okay, I'm in the dorm room, I can just meet friends. I can just meet my roommate. I can be friends with my roommate. We can go out and we can hang out and meet people together. I didn't have that opportunity. I commuted. And because I was so shy, because my anxiety was so bad, I had anxiety attacks where even if I did a presentation, who here did a presentation? Everyone has to do a presentation one point in their lives. In high school, as a teacher, in college, it doesn't end. You actually have to do more presentations. So be prepared and be ready for that. So when I was presenting in class, my hands would shake. I would overthink. I would just feel and it would make me feel 10 times worse than how I felt before, because wow, I got prepared for this presentation, but I can't even speak clearly. And also around my friends, I'm this bubbly girl. I love speaking. I love laughing. I love hanging out. I love enjoying things. But outside of my friend circle, no one else was able to see that. Why is it that in our friend circle we were able to show all of ourselves to that group of people, but as soon as you go outside of your friend circle, you're the complete opposite? You're not the same person. Why? Is it because it's that social anxiety that was crippling me from showing the world or showing other people on campus that I could network with and become better with? It was crippling me from taking my life to the next level, taking my social life to the next level. And then I discovered emotional intelligence. I said, you know what? This is not who I am. I know I'm more than this. I'm capable. I love life. I love people. I even realized that I love speaking, even though I was really bad at it. One point in time, I started to take a lot of public speaking classes because I loved encouraging people. I love talking to people. I love making people just feel good about their lives and where they were going, but I was really bad. I stuttered, and that social anxiety made it just 10 times worse. I was afraid that I was going to have a random anxiety attack right on the spot that I couldn't control. I even went to the doctors where doctors wanted to prescribe me medication, and I refused. Not that it's not helpful for other people, but for me personally, I just refused. I said, I don't want to depend on this for the rest of my life. How do I overcome this? So I started to research. I started to journal. Quick question, who here has a journal? Who here writes? So I did write a book. I wrote a book of poetry, and that poetry came out of me journaling. And journaling was a great tool for me to manage my emotions. It helped me develop my emotional intelligence. So if you don't journal, if you don't have a journal, I really, really highly recommend you get one, especially going into college. So we understand, so now we know what emotional intelligence is, right? So let's actually dive a little deeper. What are the components? So emotional intelligence actually has 5 components. We're actually going to just go into it real quick. So we have 5 components of emotional intelligence. My favorite part of this is self-awareness. So self-awareness is to express the quality of knowing yourself and the ability to monitor your thoughts. So when you have social anxiety, or if any of you guys have experienced social anxiety is when you're constantly dwelling on the future. You're constantly dwelling on something that you cannot control, meaning that your thoughts is constantly going and you're never able to sit still in your mind. Quick question, have any of you guys ever thought about your thoughts? I know that's a crazy way to put it, but have you actually just sat down and thought about what you were thinking about? That's really, honestly, it sounds crazy, and a lot of people are actually agreeing and saying yes, they have. It's probably one of the best things you can ever do, because if you don't manage something, it gets out of control. So one thing that we have to manage is our thoughts. And that was the aspect of self-awareness, to express the quality of knowing yourself and the ability to monitor your thoughts. Instead of us having that trauma of social anxiety and letting our thoughts just run rampant, why not manage them? Why not actually think about what we're thinking about so we can actually be like, okay, you know what? So when I would be on campus in college, and again, in the beginning, I didn't know anybody, and I didn't really want to talk to anybody because I was so shy, and I was just so afraid of being myself around other people. I would go into the cafeteria and I would walk and I would feel like everyone was staring at me. Have you guys ever been in a social setting where you felt like everyone was staring at you? Like you felt like, why are they looking at me? Not realizing that they're not even really looking at you. But it was something based off of your social awareness, based off of your fear, based off of insecurity, and my self-awareness and emotional intelligence helped me realize this. I said, so they're really not looking at me. They're really not even caring about me. We think people are so focused on us, when honestly, those kids are probably thinking the same thing you're thinking. The same thing. They're probably wondering, well, you think I'm looking at you, but I think you're looking at me. And sometimes, have you ever seen a lot of girls, we do this. We look at a girl, oh, she's so pretty. I love her hair. I love her outfit. She's so cute. And it's like, you would love to give her that compliment, but for some reason you're afraid to give her that compliment. And then that girl thinks you're talking about her when you're really not. You just wanted to give her a compliment. So it starts there. So being able to build that self-awareness of, no, these are my thoughts. Just because they're your thoughts doesn't mean that they're someone else's thoughts. So being able to express and understand, I am not my thoughts. How can I manage my thoughts? And one thing that helped me so much was journaling. I started to journal out the thoughts that I didn't want to have. I started to journal out the thoughts that was not helping me. I started to journal out the thoughts that was crippling me, that was making me think of myself less than. And then I started to change those words of how I seen myself. And then I started to question, well, who do I want to become? How do I want to think? And I started to just pull out the, I'm not worthy. Everyone is staring at me. Why? Is it because I'm ugly? What is it? Is it because they don't want to be my friend? Is it because I can't be myself? And I started to change that to affirming and affirmation thoughts that I was willing and I enjoyed living with. So another component is social awareness. Social awareness is the ability to be aware of your environment, what is around you, and accurately interpreting the emotions of people with whom you interact. Being able to look at your surroundings and not take on other people's energy, as we will call it, being able to assess the room, being able to know your audience. Before I came to speak to you guys, I had to know who I was speaking with. I had to know, okay, what do 12th graders need? How do 12th graders think? Thankfully, I have a sister, she's 12th grade, she's graduating as well. So I'm constantly always talking to her to prepare her for college. I'm the oldest of 7. So I have different age groups I have a 15-year-old brothers, they're twins. I have a 16-year-old sister, and I have a 17, almost 18-year-old sister. So I'm constantly always talking to them. So it was just easy for me to say, you know what, okay, because I see you guys struggling, I know where you guys need to grow in. Now I believe I can truly connect with these 12th graders who's going into the unknown. They're going into something that constantly adults talk to them about. Their family, their friends are constantly talking about college. You know, their teachers are constantly preparing them, but are you really genuinely prepared? Deep down, you're scared. Deep down, it's like, I don't know. How do I walk into this unknown ready and prepared? Also, we're never really ready. But it's that confidence and that boldness to just go into it anyway. So relationship management, the ability to build strong, healthy, and effective relationships. The reason why I'm here today is because of Liz. That was an interaction. That was a healthy, effective communication relationship that I was able to build. And because I'm here today was because her relationship with Mr. Steinway and everyone else on this call. So do you see where relationships could take you? So just to go back into my history of my social anxiety in college. So of course I was going through the process of overcoming it. I knew that's not what I wanted for my life anymore. I knew I wanted to take advantage of my college experience. So once I started to study and read and discover who I was and actually sit down and reflect on who I wanted to become in this college experience, I began building relationships. And it was hard. It was hard the first time, but one thing that I understood that emotional intelligence helped me discover was you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Again, I was really bad at speaking. I used to stutter. My social anxiety was so crippling that I couldn't even speak. I wasn't being understood. People was like, you're speaking, but I don't understand you. So I really had to dive deep into myself and build those relationships, even though I didn't want to build those relationships. So there's a lot of things we're not going to want to do, but we do it anyway because it's the benefit to our growth. It's the benefit of our personal development. It's the benefit of really just growing outside of our comfort zone. So I was willing. I made a promise. And this was my sophomore year in college. So I made a promise. I said, I'm not going to be in my shell anymore. I'm not going to be shy anymore. So I started to speak. I started to make friends. And then one of my first friends that I met, we ended up putting a whole organization together. The organization, it was an entrepreneur organization. It is still there at St. John's today. And I remember when he first came to me, he said, I have an idea. You know, one of the dean directors came up to him and said, we don't have an entrepreneur club on campus. Why don't you start it? And he said, Chanel, talking to you, I know you love business. I know you want to eventually own your own business. So let's start a club together. I was scared. I had so much fear. I said, I'm not capable. And not just that, I would have been the vice president. He would have been the president. So now we have to find people to be a part of our club. So even that was like, this is hard. I cannot do this, but I was willing to step out of my comfort zone and be comfortable until it became who I was. Sometimes they say you have to fake it till you make it. And that's how you become the person you want to become. So that was the power of a relationship management. Another one is self-management, the taking of responsibility for one's own behavior and well-being. None of us here are perfect. I know I'm not perfect. We are all different because of our weaknesses. We are all different and unique because there's things that you guys are strong in that I'm not strong in. I hate math. I really do. I'm not good with numbers. If you give me an equation right now, I'm like, I do not know how to, please don't ask me. I would have lost your attention if I started to give you math equations, okay? But I understand that that's not my weakness. Mr. Steinway may be good at math. So I would say, hey, listen, here's a math equation. Can you solve it? But the point is, it's okay to have weaknesses. It's okay to not be good in everything. Why do we want this picture perfect life? And social media is also a great aspect of showing a picture perfect life that we try to compare ourselves to. I'm here to tell you that the true authentic you with your quirks and your geekiness is okay. It's something that someone needs. I understood that I'm not a perfect person, but there's still someone that I can impact with me being comfortable with who I am. I took responsibility of knowing that there were certain things that I'm not good at, but someone else is good at it. So I'm going to lean on their strengths when they lean on my strengths. And that's how we're going to have that balanced relationship, going back to relationship management, also going back to self-awareness. It's all connected. It's all building your character to be a leader, to have confidence, and to be able to walk in boldness in your next journey walking into college. So don't ever be afraid to tell someone I'm not good at this. In fact, I love someone's response when they said, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, but that does not mean they're not going to get the answer later. I did not know actually I did know, but I changed my major 3 times. That's another thing. You may have a major in mind now, but I promise you it may not be your major graduating. And that's okay too. I'm so grateful with who I am and who I'm still becoming, but it took that process of being okay with being unsure. As humans, we are afraid of the unknown. We are afraid with being unsure. So take that responsibility of your own behavior and your well-being to know that it's okay to not be okay. Another one is motivation. Motivation is amazing. Motivation is something that we all should strive to become to each other. We all need to be reaffirmed. We all need that self-talk. Who here has a best friend? Who here has a parent or a brother or a sister that they go to get that encouragement? Who here has really bad days sometimes and they say, who can I talk to? Who can I call? What teacher do you love that you know you can speak with? Motivation, the ability to harness your emotions, to motivate ourselves to take appropriate action, to commit, to follow through. to follow through and work toward the achievement of our goals. Have that ability to be able to be encouraged. How can you be encouraged? This is my way of motivating you because I was constantly being motivated myself. Who here has a person that you look up to, a celebrity or whoever you listen to, that you know that this can motivate me to be the best person that I can be because they did it? Because they did it, I can do it too. So I love to read. Who here loves to read? I know not many people love to read, but I love to read. I know it's a little wormy, but I love it so much. But that was my way of motivating. That was motivation to me to speak, to lead, to become. So these are the 5 components of emotional intelligence. And I know it may sound a little boring, but it's so important to your well-being. It is so important to your growth. It is so important to your relationships. It's so important to you becoming who you're called to be when you go into college. So now, another thing I would love to go into is confidence. Confidence. Confidence is belief in oneself. Again, a lot of people strive to have confidence in everything in life, but honestly, you don't wake up confident. The confidence that I have to speak to you guys, I did not have it a few years ago. I did not have it when I was in college. I did not have it when I made that decision to start that club. But I still got up every single day and said, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to become again. So the questions that I constantly ask myself, and again, it started in journaling. Everything, my whole journey started from me writing. Quick question. We love taking pictures, right? Everyone here knows what selfies are, right? I love taking pictures. So we take pictures to have memories. You know, so if you go back into your phone, you have memories of years ago, right? Even if you know what Snapchat is, Snapchat keeps track of every picture that you had 3-5 years ago, and it reminds you, this is what you did this day 5 years ago, right? Not realizing that when you journal your thoughts and you go back to what you wrote a year ago, you realize that you've grown. You realize that the way that you were thinking 2-3 years ago is not the way that you think now. Imagine if you had a journal from when you were in 1st grade and you look back at what you wrote. You're like, I wrote that. I wrote that. I had a crush on that boy. You know, like what was I thinking? You know, but you realize that your thoughts are not the same. Your thoughts developed. They became better. Or maybe they got worse. Who knows? I don't know your experiences, but understanding that that's the power of journaling. You're able to keep track of your growth in real time by going back to how you thought and your ideas. A lot of things are birthed out of ideas. My book was birthed out of my journaling. A school is birthed out of an idea, writing it down. A lesson that a teacher teaches is birthed out of an idea, writing it down. Preparing. Everything that you see, the clothes that we have on, the computer that we're using, it started out as a thought, writing it down. Your thoughts can become something so elaborate and so it can become a business. It can become a way of life. It can become the new gadget years from now. Don't downgrade yourself just because the thoughts are yours and not someone else's. There's something that you can create and you can build. Everything starts with a thought. Your thought becomes words. Everything that I'm saying is starting as thoughts. This presentation started out as me just thinking. So please don't ever question your thoughts. And when you do, question it so it can become better. So these are the questions that I started to ask myself in college. Who are you? Chanel, who are you? I didn't know who I was. In fact, I changed my major 3 times. I wanted to be a pediatrician coming out of college. I'm going into college from 2nd grade. I loved kids. That's all I knew. I was the oldest. I was always around kids. So I thought, okay, I think I think I want to be a pediatrician. As soon as I took that biology class, I didn't want to be a pediatrician anymore. But it took me that experience to realize, so I'm not a pediatrician, and that's okay. So who am I? So I had to write that question down. And if you guys are writing notes, please write these questions down. They're so important. They may not be understood now, but I promise you in college, it will be probably one of the most important questions you ever ask yourself. And you may not receive the response that you want the first time, but if you ask it over and over again every single day, I promise you, you'll get an answer. You will get an answer based off of your experiences, based off of the people you meet. Who are you and what is your purpose? We all have a purpose. We all have a reason to be here on earth. We all have a reason to be here on earth. Whether you think so or not, there is a reason that you are here. There's something that you have that the world needs. There's something that you need to teach that no one else can teach. There's something that you need to create that no one can create. If you're a painter, if you're an artist, there's pictures that only you can visualize that needs to be in a museum somewhere. If you want to be the first person, well, we already been to Mars, but if you want to go to the next planet, I don't know. Maybe you only have the confidence and the courage to think that. So when you start asking yourself these questions, believe it or not, life is going to help you answer them. Who do you want to become? So as I mentioned, I did write a book. It's a book of poetry, a queen, and the title is A Queen of a Woman. And the reason why I had that title, because I did not think I was a queen of a woman. I thought completely less than that. So because I thought completely less than that, I knew that's what I wanted to become. So I said it to myself every single day. I said, I'm a queen of a woman. Who's a queen of a woman, Chanel? I'm a woman of purpose. I'm a leader. I'm a woman who can speak with clarity and vision, who can impact people, who can encourage people. I'm a woman who can overcome my trials, my tribulations. I watched my mother was a single mother. I watched her struggle taking care of her 6 children. But no matter what, I knew I was the first one to graduate with a bachelor's, the first one to even think about starting a business. I just had an article that was published on Fox News. There's things that I couldn't even fathom a few years ago. But because I wrote out who do I want to become and how do I want to affect people, I started to ask myself that every day. And I possibly didn't have the answers for years. But that one year, it all came to me because I was constantly placing myself in situations where I was being uncomfortable. I was being comfortable being uncomfortable to grow myself. Starting that club, we ended up growing that club to 20, 30 people. I didn't know how to speak to people. I didn't know how to be a leader. I learned as I went. If you do not know how to do something, you learn as you go. But don't be afraid to start it just because you don't know. How are you supposed to learn? So these are the questions that I started to ask myself every single day. And I want you guys to start asking yourself these questions now, because I didn't understand this graduating high school. And if you understand this now, you'll be ahead of the curve. Leadership. The ability to lead. Again, leadership sounds so big. It's like, well, I'm not the president. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a principal. But you can be a leader just where you are. So you guys all, I'm sure you all heard of peer pressure, right? Peer pressure to do things that you possibly don't want to do. Going out, partying, drinking, smoking, whatever it is. You were peer pressured, right? Peer pressure is influence. They're leading you to make that decision. We're leading no matter where we are. We're influencing people whether we think so or not. Our words have power in our relationships. When you understand the power of words, you realize that you're leading in every area of your life. So when you're able to take that position on, as I'm a leader, I need to watch what I say and how I treat people, you understand the importance of influence. You understand how to treat people. You understand the ability to constantly grow and develop, to be better, to be a better influencer. Do you want to influence people to destruction? Or do you want to influence people to become something better for this world? So what is leadership? How do we go deeper into leadership? So again, I'm speaking from complete personal experience. For me, leadership is character. Character, okay, so I was actually at the store with my brother recently, and I looked at the sneaker Yeezys. Who here has ever purchased Yeezys or love sneakers or love clothes? I love clothes. You know, you guys love to look nice. Of course, right? I love style. It's a way to express yourself, right? But outside of those clothes, how is your character? Your looks can get you into the door, but your character is what's going to keep you inside that room. There's going to be doors that's going to open for you in college, for you to start organizations, for you to get internships, for you to get jobs. But that character is going to keep you and grow you in that position. So how do you want to develop your character? Because your character develops your voice. My character developed my voice. My character was tied to my experiences. Everything you guys are going through in your life, in school, with your friends, it's building your character. Based on your character now is going to determine the decisions that you make later. Every decision that you made from here on out is what got you here. My decision to go out and brand my business, I ended up meeting Liz. That was a decision. My decision to tell myself back in college that I wanted to overcome anxiety and I wanted to be a better leader and I wanted to be a speaker and I wanted to help encourage other people to be better, that was a decision. What decisions are you making now and what decision are you going to want to make later when you get to college? That's tied to your experiences. Your decisions create your experiences. Integrity, I did not know what that word was for a while in college. And then when I discovered what the word meant, I was like, okay, this is actually a great word. I heard when I was leading the organization on school grounds, I heard someone mention, yeah, I only want to work with someone with integrity. I'm like, what's integrity? It sounds like a good word. And then once I realized it, I'm like, I want to be a person of integrity. And integrity is you being the same person everywhere you go. Being a whole person. So again, a lot of times we're one way with our friends, we're another way with our parents, and we're another way at school, and then we're another way at our job, and then we're another way with strangers. But imagine if you were being the same person over and over again. Imagine if you were the same person here, somewhere else. Then that grows your trust. People trust you. People rely on you. People call on you. I know Chanel. I know Liz. I know Erica. I know you. I know Sade. So because I know them, Because I know them, I wouldn't be afraid to work with them. I trust them with my money. I trust them with this job position. Can people trust you? Do you want to grow in trust when you get to college so you can build those relationships? I was able to have the opportunity because I was trusted with that organization that I had in college. I was trusted with a better opportunity, and I ended up getting an internship at Roc Nation. If you guys don't know, Roc Nation is a record label, Jay-Z's record label. I was able to meet his sister. It was an amazing experience, but it was tied to my relationships. It was tied to my voice. It was tied to my experiences. It was tied to integrity. Your opportunities in your life, and especially in college, it's going to be tied to your character. People are not going to question, well, what party did you go to? Were you the life of the party? Of course, it's okay to have fun, but not too much fun to the point where it affects your character. Because then you're going to be the life of the party, but you're not going to be the person for the position. Student mentality, mentorship. Mentorship was a big testimony to my development. Every person I met, I became a student to them. Believe it or not, college is an amazing experience that I would always look back at. But my learning did not stop there. Your learning does not stop in college. It does not stop after high school. You have to become a student at life. Every person that crosses your path, you can learn something from them. There was something where Liz emailed me about my bio, and I said, I'm going to take that into consideration. Thank you. I was willing to learn. I don't care who you are. There's always something that you can learn from someone. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care about your position. I'm going to always sit down and have a student mentality, because once you stop learning, you start slowly dying inside. And we want to bring life to each other. So what can I learn from your experiences? There's places you have been that I have not been. There's things that you have done that I have not done. There's people that you have met that I have not met. What can I learn from you? And when you understand that having a student mentality does not stop in school, you would never stop growing, and you would never stop becoming, and you're going to always be called on for an opportunity. Personal development, reading. I love reading. I'm always buying a book. But again, reading didn't become fun to me until I got into college, and here's why. I chose the books that I had a passion for. Every book that I read it on leadership. I read on public speaking. I read on emotional intelligence. I read on purpose. I read on how can I become better in business. But these were the things that I were passionate about. What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about cars? Are you passionate about modeling? Are you passionate about being a doctor, medicine? Are you passionate about technology? Are you passionate about creating a cure for COVID? What are you passionate about? And buy those books and become a student. And that's when life starts to happen, because it's not just about money, but it's about you feeling fulfilled and feeling joy about your life experiences. Growth mindset. Don't ever get stuck with, I already know everything. You can't teach me nothing. I have this position. I've been here for 50 plus years. There's nothing I can learn from you. That's when you stop living. There's a level of growth that we all can reach. Even if you reach the highest pinnacle of positions, presidency, I don't know where it is you're trying to be, where you're trying to go, but there is always something that you can learn. And when you understand that, you're going to be so successful in everything that you do. So have that growth mindset no matter where you are, no matter how far you become. Even if you become a doctor, there's always ways to be a better doctor. serving others.
Sorry to interrupt you. Oops, sorry. Just because we're running out of time, students have class in a couple minutes.
Okay.
So I just want to let you know there's 2 more minutes. And I was going to ask if I could, because this is so powerful, could I share your email with students who are here in case they have any follow-up questions?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, so just end it off with serving others, love people. Everything is tied to serving others, everything. As well, I'm just serving you guys. So be willing to serve people. And now go find your voice, you guys. Go find your voice, grow, develop, become, learn, and overcome your fears. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me end it. Now, any questions? I see a hand, Anisha.
Yeah, Anisha, I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you aloud for coming. And I was like really moved by your entire speech. And I know you said you were shy before, but I think you found your purpose and you're doing great work. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Any more questions, comments?
I got a couple direct messages saying how much students appreciated this, so I wanted to pass those on to you.
Awesome. I really appreciate it, you guys. I really appreciate it. Go find your purpose. Go find your voice. And congratulations to everyone graduating.
Thank you. I wrote this in the chat, but you were such good energy that now I'm like, my 9th grade English class I'm about to teach is going to be better than it was if you weren't here to speak, because I feel like I'm going to teach it with more purpose now.
Amazing. I love that. So amazing.
So I'll follow up with sending your leadership guide to all the students here. And then I'll also share your email in case they want to follow up with any comments, questions, and whatnot.
Yes, I'll put my email and my Instagram in the group chat. So you guys stay in contact with me. If you have random questions while you're in college, please feel free to reach out to me. My door is open. I promise you, my door is open. Ask me questions. If you want to ask a personal question that you don't want to put on a chat, you can email it to me.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye, you guys.
Okay, I have to go teach, but I